Okay, so for the hair for competition, the braid needs to come to the right, so towards your athlete's right hand. So what you'll want to do is section their hair at a good part line. And pull everything to their right hand side. From there, you'll want to leave enough hair to make a thick enough braid that it doesn't look very wimpy. So you'll pick about halfway back on their head and come across and make a good definite part line. Once you have that part line in, come back towards the back again. Leave this side hair down because you're going to want to bring the braid across and then angle backwards. Take all of this hair that you've separated and just throw it in a sloppy ponytail to get it out of your way so that you don't accidentally braid it in. From there, take the hair that you're braiding and smooth all the little fuzzes at the front into it. A little bit of hairspray will do. Okay, so what we're going to do is an inside-out braid, which is a reverse of normal braiding. So you'll take your first section right next to your part line and break it into 3 sections. To do a regular braid, you would start by passing them over the top of each other. But because we're doing a reverse braid, we're going to pass them underneath. So we want to come under each strand. So you go from the outside to the middle, going underneath. So once you've done that a couple times, just to start it out, when you pass this one under, you'll take a thin strip of hair, place it with it, making sure there aren't bumps, and pass the whole group underneath. And switch your hands to the other side. Your outside one will come underneath, and you'll join it with a thin strip of hair. Making sure you have all your little pieces smoothed in. So each time you come underneath, you grab a new strip of hair from the section and it goes with it. Each time you want to keep making sure you're smoothing the hair so you don't have any bumps of hair coming across the front of their head. Okay, once you get to about the side of their head, where they would typically part their hair if they were parting on that side, you want to start turning the braid and angling towards the back of their head where the ponytail is going to be. If you don't angle towards the back and just braid across the front, when you have to pull this braid backward to get into the ponytail, it's going to make a really weird bump and look a little crazy. So now you're going to pull more hair from the front and less hair from the back so that your braid turns. Still making sure you're keeping it real close to the athlete's head. here. See how the braid's now coming up and towards the back of their head, so that when you need to stick it in the ponytail, it's still going to lay pretty decently flat to her head. So once you get to about here, you can stop picking up hair and you can just braid. Still pulling it towards the back of the head so that the braid's going to lay flat when you try to hook it into the ponytail.
Just put it away. I don't know why you pulled it out to begin with. You didn't need a turn. She shouldn't have a turn either.
Okay, Peyton's got really thick hair, so hers is a decent sized braid. But if you don't have super thick hair, it's going to look a little bit windier. So if you get it done and you feel like this looks really thin and not as pretty, you can always take these loops and just pull on them a little bit, and it will poof them up more so that the braid looks like it has some size to it. Peyton doesn't really need that because her hair is super thick to begin with. So braid their hair just to the point where you know it will stay braided as it goes into the ponytail. So it really only needs to be, you know, another couple inches down from where you stopped pulling hair in. Just stick a ponytail at the end of that for now, and we'll undo it later. Okay. So now that you have that, just give it a little bit of hairspray. Make sure you have all your flyaways kind of stuck in. And then we'll do the pony. Okay, so when you're doing your pony, it really works best if the athlete's hair is all straightened before you start so that it's coming smoothly into the ponytail. If they don't have super curly hair, it's okay to just get it all up and then straighten the ponytail. I'm going to try to put Peyton's all in at one time. Normally I do multiple ponytails because her hair's so thick. We'll give it a shot this way.
You should do multiple ponytails because then you can show how like you can do some ups and downs and then go into it and just do another ponytail. Peyton.
Sorry, I could do that. Why not? We could do that. Okay, so if you have an athlete that has a bob,
You can show them both in one thing.
if you have an athlete that has a bob and you know you can't get the back of their hair into a high ponytail without stuff falling down, did Lainey's that way. Her hair's way longer than it would need to be to do this, but you can do some up and some down instead of drop down a little. Scooch. Instead of putting everything up, if it's going to leave hair hanging down and back, that looks messy. If they have shorter hair, you can do the same braid. You gotta scooch down. You're too tall.
I'm sorry.
And then bring just the sides from the ears up and put it into the ponytail there. And then put your bow in at that point, leaving the back down. So it would basically just work like grab the hair from next to the ears, smoothing it as you go so you don't have bumps. Make sure you make a nice edge. And then you just put your ponytail there. You want it just your finger length from their forehead up so that it's right on top of their head. I'm just doing yours.
Oh, okay.
If you're getting the whole pony up, you want to just keep combing the hair towards the top. Toughen up, girl.
I don't like it. Neither do I.
Spraying as you go, so it's nice and smooth. Because otherwise you'll have a bunch of little bumps once you get your hair ties in. Hopefully nobody has as thick of hair as this because it makes it a stretch to do anything with it. So just keep spraying and combing so that it's a nice, slick ponytail. And you just grab the braid and put it in with the ponytail.
Yay, didn't break.
So make sure you have everything pulled nice and tight. I suggest 2 ponytail holders at the base so that there's something strong there to hold the bow because the bows this year are really heavy. Once you have that done, spray it down and smooth all the hairs. Okay, if you're going to hook the bow in at this point, you'll probably want to take the hair tie out of the bow if they come with them. I don't know if the ones that everybody gets will have them or not, but I would recommend cutting this out because it won't hold in their hair during a comp anyway. And you're going to have to use 2 zip ties this year because of the weight of the bow. So what I did was just slide the zip ties into these spaces that are crinkled where they bent the bow to hook it at the center. If you push them through, you can slide them in there and just let them come out the other side of that. It's the most secure way to get it hooked for comps. So once you have that, you'll do your bottom hair tie or your bottom zip tie first. Press the bow right up against the athlete's head and flip her ponytail over. The best thing to do is tuck it once underneath one of the hair ties so that it's anchored in the hair ties so that it doesn't come sliding down her ponytail while she's tumbling in comps. And then just pull your zip tie tight. Okay, lift your head up a little bit. Make sure you have it positioned exactly where you want it before you really jam the zip tie closed, and then tighten it up. Take your second zip tie, put it underneath the top one, top part of your hair ties, and close that. With the 2 of them, it should be strong enough to hold the weight of the bows this year. Okay, now dip your head down a little. Once you have these 2 zip tie pieces hanging out, you can take any type of scissors or wire cutters and just cut them at the base so they're not sticking out. Alright, once you have that done, flip the pony back, and then their bow is sitting right up top and facing outward. At that point, you can take your little hair tie on your braid and just pull that out and let that braid out. So the gym look this year is not a big, huge ratted ponytail, but just a little bit of poof to the ponytail. So we're going to tease a small bit because we don't want the pony to just be flat and straight. Now turn for me so you can see the back now. Okay, so we don't want the pony to just hang completely straight and limp, but we don't want a big, huge, ratted mess. So you're going to go about halfway through the pony and just do a small bit of ratting to just give it a little bit of size. So take a little section, spray it a little bit with some hairspray, use a teasing comb, just back comb a small bit. And just work little sections just so you get a little bit of lift at the ponytail, but you do not want a crazy ratted huge pony. Peyton's gets pretty big pretty quickly, so it will probably only take a couple for her. Okay, so once you've given it a little bit of ratting so it has a little size, you'll just take your top set and lay it over the top. So that way it's nice and smooth, doesn't look teased and ratted up, but it does have a little size so it shows a little bit behind the bow. You'll just spray it with a little bit of hairspray. And that's pretty much it. That's the competition hair for this season. So you see a little bit of ponytail, but it's not huge. Your inside out braid comes to the right hand side, and the bow is hooked facing forward and standing upright.